All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So despite cryptocurrency prices having gone down, quite a bit over the past several months, we're still seeing lots of companies flock to this space and talk about how they can adopt blockchain technology while the space is relatively quiet. Because don't forget, that's one of the biggest times to actually capitalize on these opportunities is to get in there and build things when people don't care as much. And then when the next wave of excitement comes along, you're in a really strong position to capitalize on all that opportunity. And that's a major trend that we're seeing from companies right now, particularly around the Ethereum ecosystem, because everybody's seen everything that's happened over the past year or so, how much activity has actually, flourished on top of the Ethereum network. And it's one of those things where you just can't ignore it. So if you're a company, you're in the crypto space, or you're, trying to get into blockchain space, then it's a must. Okay, so we're seeing this trend. I want to talk about some of that I'm seeing in this video today, along with a lot of other news updates that have happened since our live stream yesterday. Again, we do this Monday through Friday on this channel. Turn notifications, subscribe to the channel, so you'll see these videos whenever they come out. And yeah, let's just see here. Before we get started, let's see, everybody hear my microphone okay in the chat? Let me know in the chat if you hear my microphone okay. I think there's something wrong with the YouTube chat. I can't actually see it on my screen here. Let me actually just open up the video on a separate tab here. Hopefully it won't cause any feedback issues with the audio. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody. I just want to make sure I can actually hear the chat okay. Yeah, I can see the chat now. Awesome. So welcome. So anyways, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. So we got a bunch of people in the chat here. We got Steven, Automatic, Nathan, Tom, see here, C. Parisi, Jam, Abraham, Bartoz, Blockchain Mac, Norman, C. Parrish, Alan, Thomas. Welcome. We got a bunch of excited people in here. So let's go ahead and talk about this big trend of companies getting into the space. We've talked about some of these in the live streams that we do every day on this channel about, let's see, like Visa, partnering with Crypto.com to actually settle transactions on payment rails. We talk about Ethereum being one of the front runners in this space where we can actually do major financial transactions as a settlement layer. We're seeing this trend from lots of other companies. And one that I actually want to talk about today, getting into the Ethereum space, is a crypto company, but is actually pivoting its strategy to offer crypto native services. So let me explain what I mean by that. So we're actually talking about Coinbase. Okay, so Coinbase is the leading cryptocurrency exchange in the US. It's one of the largest exchanges in the entire world. If you're in the US, you've traded crypto, you've probably used Coinbase, or I don't need to belabor the point about what Coinbase is, but if you're brand new, that's what it is. I try not to assume that everybody knows exactly, everything on this channel. I try to really keep this space friendly for beginners. There's no stupid questions, all that type of stuff. But anyways, so Coinbase is pivoting their strategy to actually start supporting decentralized applications, okay, or dApps, with their new Dapp store that they're talking about. So why is this such a big deal, and why is this a big paradigm shift, and why can this be huge for blockchain adoption overall? Well, let's take a look here. So you can see some comments from Coinbase, how they see themselves as sort of the Apple of the crypto space. Okay, so in essence, Armstrong views Coinbase as the Apple of the crypto industry, just as Apple and the App Store has made it easy for developers and tech professionals to innovate with the iPhone. Armstrong wants Coinbase to provide that same function for crypto. Okay, so what he's saying is Apple didn't attempt to build every app for the iPhone. It empowered developers and gave mobile users an easy way to access innovative apps. We want to do the same thing with crypto. Okay, and we're talking about, crypto quickly matured from its initial use cases of trading Bitcoin, like you could do on Coinbase, to thousands of new assets, which you see more cryptocurrencies getting listed, now to the adoption of new use cases like decentralized finance, DeFi, NFTs, and smart contracts, and also decentralized autonomous organizations and DAOs. We're actually going to talk more about DAOs later in this video with a pretty major update on that as well. So what they're saying is they are betting huge on a future of decentralized applications that are providing real benefits to end users, okay? And how a Coinbase App Store could work differently from an Apple App Store, and why this is such a big deal is, we think about an app store like Apple. Basically, how this works is they're kind of like a gatekeeper where you have your developer, you submit your application, you put it on the App Store, and people can download it that way. But a crypto app store, essentially all that has to happen is you have these smart contract protocols that are on the blockchain, and then they just have to get integrated into essentially a wallet that builds an interface that interacts with them that way. Okay, so there's a lot less friction to actually using a decentralized application, because all you have to do is create an interface that talks to it. Okay. And one reason I think this is huge for crypto adoption in general is because I think one way that crypto spreads to the masses is for it to become a mobile-first experience. So right now, a lot of things that we do with crypto is basically people getting on their computer, on their desktop computer, installing a browser extension like MetaMask, going to an exchange, buying crypto, going through all these steps, all these hoops before they can actually use these applications. And I think that's going to work for people who are getting like insane benefits out of crypto off the bat, like people who are, in the depths trying to find gems and get into DeFi projects early. All those people are totally going to do that stuff. But for regular people who just want to take advantage of some of the benefits, a mobile-first experience that removes some of that friction, where all they have to do is, pull out an app on their phone that's already integrated with an entire Dapp ecosystem, where there's no friction for them to like transfer funds from one app to another. They can do it all in one place. I think that's huge for the future of crypto. And I've talked about that several times on this channel. But I think we're seeing that same vision here from Coinbase, and this new effort to integrate all that within their own app. And so I think that's the other important thing to understand is you're now tapping into an entire network of people who have Coinbase already installed. Okay, so Coinbase users are now essentially going to be seamlessly onboarded into this Dapp ecosystem, or it's going to be very easy for them to basically move into this Dapp ecosystem. Because I talked to a lot of people, who are outside of, these deep crypto circles who, essentially they understand cryptocurrency, but they're not deep into decentralization, not deep into dApps or DeFi. And, they're vaguely aware of a lot of this type of stuff, but haven't taken that jump to actually use it as much. Because I think one reason is they don't understand, but the other reason too is, this friction that you have to overcome to actually go and use these applications. They're confusing, and you have to move through all these apps. But if you can do it all in one place and the benefits can clearly be explained to the end user right there in app, I think it's going to be a huge deal. So what do you all think down in the comment section below? What do you think of the, what do you think of the Apple App Store? I'm sorry, the Coinbase App Store for dApps. So let's go ahead and check on the prices as well. I've got a lot of other cool updates that I want to talk about in the space today, but let's go ahead and check on the cryptocurrency prices. So, Bitcoin looks like it's still trying to make up its mind on what it wants to do. So we can see here, so we're still in this range from like $30,000 to $40,000. Okay. So Bitcoin has, kind of made a low around $30,000. It wicked down below that. We came up here and tried to get above this moving average. We're seeing prices correct again to the downside. What I want to see here before I get too excited is I want to see Bitcoin price start to go up and actually make a higher low, okay? Because we can see here is this kind of bearish trend where, we're seeing a low, a low, a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, and then about the same level twice in a row, okay? So before I get too excited, I want to see Bitcoin essentially make a low that's higher than this one and then start to do it multiple times probably before I would, get too excited about the price going up, all right? We've seen lots of things on this channel about different perspectives on, whether the cryptocurrency bull run can continue or if we're in some sort of long-term, correction. So we're kind of in that critical zone of figuring that out, right? And there could be a situation where, Bitcoin doesn't hold this and we break down. But I'm still optimistic about prices going up higher than they are today this year. But before I get too excited about that proposition, I definitely want to see a higher low situation here before we start, moving out. So we got to check on the Ether price as well. So Ether was actually doing pretty strong yesterday. I'm watching that compared to the Bitcoin price, especially. Ether had a pretty good run yesterday. So Ether had, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles in a row on the daily chart. And now we're definitely seeing, the loss of some of those gains pretty quickly. But hey, it was fun while it lasted, put it that way. You can actually see what happened to the ETH BTC ratio. So the ETH BTC ratio was going up quite a bit yesterday as well. So essentially this measures the Ethereum price to the Bitcoin price. And, people watch this because they think there's more value on the Ethereum network than the Bitcoin network. They think there's a possibility of Ethereum flipping Bitcoin long term because of everything that you can do with the technology. I'm definitely believe that that's possible. I don't think it's going to happen like tomorrow, but this is definitely a ratio to keep an eye on if that's something that you're watching out for in the future. So, speaking of cryptocurrency, so one hot cryptocurrency a lot of people are talking about right now, we saw a tweet yesterday from, Mr. Elon Musk, the man that crypto Twitter has a love-hate relationship with. So we saw a joke about this, about Baby Doge. So he's tweeting like a song here. So, the Baby Shark song, Baby Shark do, 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 do. So he did a joke on that. So Baby Doge. And people are saying, hey, what's going on? Like Dogecoin didn't pump at all. Like what's going on with Doge price? It didn't move. But the Twitter quickly found out that there is actually a coin called Baby Doge. Okay. So there is a Baby Doge coin. I guess this was created in the wake of the, the dog coin madness. And Baby Doge did in fact pump on the news of Elon Musk tweeting about it. So it looks like dog coins are in fact not dead, at least not Baby Doge. So of course not financial advice, mostly just kind of joking around about this. And I guess that's kind of what Elon Musk is doing too. But yeah. That was definitely something that captivated a lot of people's attention on Twitter, at least for a little while. So let's talk about some other crazy stuff that's happening in the Ethereum ecosystem right now, because again, this space is like totally taking off like crazy. So we're seeing a lot of innovation in the direction of Ethereum 2.0 as well. So we're actually seeing a new high in the amount of ETH staked in the deposit contract. So what is this and why is it important? Let me pull it up on my screen here. So right now we've had over, let's see the numbers, 6 million ETH in the deposit contract. So let me just show my screen. So this is actually posted by my good buddy Anthony Sassano here. Definitely go check out his stuff. Does a lot of news updates on the Ethereum ecosystem as well. He has a daily show called the Daily Gwei newsletter as well. But anyways, there's now over 6 million ETH in the ETH2 deposit contract. Okay. So why is this important? Well, we talk about how Ethereum is basically in this multi-phase rollout to Ethereum 2.0. This is the new and improved version of Ethereum that gets it ready for prime time, makes it really scalable, prime for mass adoption. This is the overall long-term vision of Ethereum itself. Okay, and we had basically ETH2 phase 0 launch at the end of last year, where we're setting up a separate blockchain where you can actually go migrate over to it to participate in Ethereum 2.0. Now it's basically it's kind of like a test environment for now. It's not the official final Ethereum 2.0 that we're all just going to use. Like if basically something bad happened over there, they might make some changes. That's kind of a rough explanation of what I'm talking about here. But basically, there's a separate environment set up right now. You're not using it. It's the whole point. And in order to get over there to actually make the network run, you have to move Ether from the blockchain that you use now over to that one. That's what this deposit contract is for. And the big benefit people are doing that for, the big incentive is for staking. Okay, so we're talking about staking on Ethereum 2.0. Basically, that's one of the big changes for ETH is that it changes from proof of work to proof of stake. So instead of mining Ether, essentially you will now stake it to help secure the network, and you earn a passive income reward for doing that. And now we're now saying 6 million Ether, not $6 million, but 6 million actual units of Ethereum cryptocurrency or Ether in that deposit contract right now. So that's a huge amount of money. And one of the reasons that's so important is because that amount of money is what's at risk here, is at stake, betting that this is going to be successful long term. Okay, so either companies or individuals have moved Ether over there, betting on the success of the Ethereum network long term. So some people, people get kind of caught up in the hype and the FUD about, Ethereum. You have all these narratives from the Ethereum killers about like it's never going to work, all this stuff, it can't scale. Well, I would just say follow the money, okay? And we're seeing a massive amount of money bet on the success of ETH2 long term. So let's see here. We got some other questions in the chat. So it says ETH is king. Can you explain what else Ethereum is working on other than EIP 1559? So yeah, ETH is actually working on a lot long term. So basically, there's ETH is working on EIP 1559, ETH 2.0. So you have to understand there's different things in the Ethereum ecosystem. So you have basically the Ethereum Foundation and then also sort of the Ethereum community of core developers that work on the core ETH protocol itself. All right. And then you have all these other things that are going to help out ETH long term. So those are two different things. So one is actually upgrading the Ethereum protocol itself, and that's what EIP 1559 is about. And then also that's what ETH 2.0 is about. So EIP 1559, if anybody's not sure what that is, that's the thing that's slated for launch, later in July. So that's actually this month now, or beginning of August, maybe beginning mid-August. That's where basically ETH's going to get burned whenever new transactions are created. There's a lot more to that upgrade than just that, but that's the benefit that people are most excited about. So that's not officially part of the ETH 2.0 roadmap. There's lots of other stuff with ETH 2.0, like sharding. Let me spell that out. SHARDING. Some people are like, hey, what is he saying when he's saying sharding? Sharding, sharding with a D. Sharding, staking, lots more. Okay. So the whole point I'm trying to make is that's all governed by sort of like the core Ethereum team itself. All right. So it's a decentralized community who govern their protocol. But then there's all this extra stuff like layer 2 scaling solutions. Okay. So layer 2 scaling is not really something that's controlled by like the Ethereum development community. That's actually those are actually separate efforts that are built on top of the Ethereum ecosystem. So think about things like optimistic rollups, ZK rollups. I've talked about those on this channel. Those are actually being developed by different teams that aren't officially part of the Ethereum, core development team. Okay, so. Those layer 2 scaling solutions are part of Ethereum's roadmap, though, long term. Okay, so when we're talking about moving to ETH 2.0, ETH 2.0 will make things a lot faster, but it's not just ETH 2.0 that's going to make things faster. Long term, we're going to have ETH 2.0. We're also going to have these scaling solutions on top of it with layer 2s, like I'm talking about, Optimism, Arbitrum, ZK rollups, all that type of stuff that are going to make this Ethereum, this vision that we have long-term scaling with an insane amount of transactions per second with relatively low fees. Because people talk about Ethereum being too slow, too expensive. Well, we fix all those problems through a variety of means. You can't just like flip a switch and make Ethereum better. You have to fix all these different things individually. The Ethereum Foundation and the Ethereum community officially is over sort of like one part of this equation. And then you have these sort of like other parties that are incentivized to help out Ethereum long-term that are working on this other side of things as well with these scaling solutions. So that's kind of a long answer, but I hope that clears up what you're asking. Let's see here. So another thing that I saw yesterday that was pretty crazy, we're talking about adoption in the Ethereum space, is we actually see, I saw this come up. So I haven't verified whether, this is, 100% accurate or not. And I think the tweet's even saying that, we don't even know if it's 100% accurate or not. But I'm pretty sure. But let's talk about it. So anyways, let's just take it at face value. And if it's like 100% legit at face value, then it's pretty awesome. So pretty excited to share that our firm has just completed formation of what we believe to be the first official Wyoming DAO LLC in the world. So love how Wyoming continued to lead. Okay. So what is this? Well, we'll start off with what is a DAO. So a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So this is basically something that's only possible with blockchain technology. So let's just break it down. Decentralized autonomous organization. So decentralized, it exists on the blockchain. It takes advantage of blockchain technology. So autonomous, so it's powered by something that is is not powered by humans. So smart contracts, okay? So a decentralized autonomous organization. Basically, it's a group of coordinated individuals that's governed by code. It's governed by protocols, governed by smart contracts on the blockchain. You've ever heard of Maker DAO? Okay, this is one of the original implementations of this type of thing. And we see a pretty big shift, paradigm shift in how we're trying to experiment with blockchain technology, where we can have DAOs, govern, companies. DAOs govern protocols, all this type of stuff. So you can think about a DAO maybe being responsible for governing how money is spent for an application like, Uniswap, for example, or some sort of decentralized community. Maybe there's a treasury that says like, hey, we're going to spend funds if everyone in the DAO agrees that we can spend funds this way. And so you might have voting mechanisms in these DAOs. Maybe people have to hold tokens in order to vote in these DAOs. And so it's kind of like shareholders in a company, very loosely analogous to that type of thing, but it works fundamentally differently because, it doesn't work quite the same way, but it's a very rough comparison, okay? We're seeing a shift in how what's possible here. And I talked about this on this channel where we've actually seen pretty major legislation pass in Wyoming where DAOs can now be recognized as companies, okay? And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So what he's saying is they've completed what they think is the first official Wyoming DAO LLC in the world. So what we're saying is, basically, this is a major milestone, if true, where we're starting to see these things actually recognized as official legal entities. So, it's all fun and games if you can create a DAO that governs like, crypto protocol, and people can hold cryptocurrency and vote on chain and maybe disperse funds. But if you can take that to the next level, where now these DAOs can be recognized as actual legal entities, as an LLC in the United States, a limited liability corporation, then maybe this DAO could do something like own physical property, okay, not just cryptocurrency. So the major point here is this is actually expanding what's possible with blockchain technology with DAOs, and it's continuing this experiment even further, okay? And this is all the type of innovation that's happening on top of the Ethereum ecosystem because it's had smart contracts for such a long time. It's had all this time and energy to basically get this momentum to create something like this. So I'm super excited to see where this goes, but that's another pretty big step forward that I think is going to be... It's going to be major. Somebody says they would buy my NFTs. Somebody says DAOs will replace corporate execs. So will I go back on around the blockchain? I'd like to. I think we talked about coming back on sometime soon. So hopefully we can get a time lined up pretty quickly. So another thing I saw yesterday, and this is a little bit of some irony. People are kind of worked about this on Twitter. So basically, Twitter's actually giving away 140 NFTs through the Rarible app. Okay. So social media platform shared a series of tweets featuring a number of different images with the Twitter logo. All right. So people talk about like, are NFTs dead? I just put out a video yesterday about that. So giving you my thoughts on that, have NFT bubble kind of popped. I think, the massive sort of awareness bubble of NFTs is likely popped, but of course I think NFTs are major long-term for this technology. You can go see all my thoughts outlined in that video that I published yesterday. But basically, Twitter's giving away 140 non-fungible tokens or NFTs to this marketplace Rarible. Okay. So we saw this happen in March. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, called attention to a tokenized version of his first tweet on Twitter. So basically somebody, found the first tweet and then tokenized it, trying to, have like digital property that's scarce and unique that people might want to hold long term. But one reason people are getting so salty about this on Twitter is because Jack has, he doesn't have a lot of good things to say about Ethereum. So Jack is what you would call a Bitcoin maximalist. Okay, somebody who basically thinks that Bitcoin's the only cryptocurrency that's worth anything. All right, and basically has not had good things to say about Ether in the past, and like people try to get Jack to support Ether in the Cash app because he's also CEO over Cash as well. And so I was like, no. But then people are kind of laughing at the fact that, well, if they're going to mint NFTs on Twitter on Ethereum, then you kind of have to hold Ether. Like you have to use the Ethereum blockchain. And, people kind of just point out the irony in this. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Somebody says baby Doge. They're going to go. Maybe Doge. I can't believe that we're back to the Dogecoin trend. So maybe bull run keeps going, right? If maybe the Dogecoin, maybe the dog coin trend can save the crypto bull run, right? All right, so let's see here. So I talked about the ERC20 drop from Pulse Chain. No, let's see here. Sometimes do I recommend staking ETH? So I talked about this yesterday on my live stream. I'll recap my thoughts on this, but basically, there's of course a lot of risk in staking Ethereum cryptocurrency right now, or Ether, because we are in this phase where we're setting up this second blockchain where you have to move your Ethereum cryptocurrency or Ether over to that blockchain, and you have a lockup period. So essentially, we have to wait for these two chains to merge, for ETH2 to get merged back into ETH1, and we don't exactly know when that's going to be for sure, just because it's so complex. Anytime you have a really hard technology to execute, then basically it's really hard to know when it's going to be finished. So the optimistic goal is to have the merge happen at the end of 2021, this year. More conservatively, seeing that happen at the beginning of 2022. So you have to wait until that happens before you can get your ETH back if you stake it. Okay, so I think for a lot of people, it's just not worth the risk. I'm not taking like all my ETH and going and staking it in the protocol for those types of reasons, just because you don't exactly know when it's going to get back. You have to think about it in terms of risk reward. So if you're like super sold out on ETH long term, you know what I mean, and it's amount of money that you're just never going to sell, and you don't need those funds right now, and that could be a different story. But for me, it's just not worth the hassle until it's liquid to pull it back out. And it's not necessarily just to sell, and it might be for security reasons. Maybe you want to do something else with it. Maybe you want it to be productive in DeFi, and not necessarily just staking on the network itself. Right? I just want to have more options, essentially, not necessarily to sell the ETH, but just to have more options. And taking those options off the table, is not as worth it for me at this stage in the game. Like I said before, we already have 6 million Ether staked in the contract. There's plenty of people sort of doing their part and helping out the network. My contribution at this point is not going to be consequential. What is the required amount of ETH you have to stake? So if you're going to stake it natively on the network, then you have to do 32 ETH, but there are services that will let you stake less, but they typically are going to take a percentage fee for doing that. So why doesn't Maker get enough attention? So Maker is definitely an awesome project. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. So what is Maker? Well, it's Maker DAO. So they're the project that govern DAI. So, DAI is a stable cryptocurrency whose price doesn't change, roughly speaking. It's pegged to the US dollar. It's a super important stablecoin for the blockchain ecosystem, particularly DeFi ecosystem, because it's actually crypto backed. Okay, so not all stablecoins are created equally. There's a lot of FUD or fear, uncertainty, and doubt around the Tether stablecoin, because people don't know if Tether's actually backed by all the funds that they say they are. There's USDC stablecoin, which is a fiat backed stablecoin. Basically, they're actual dollar value assets or dollars. Backing the value of that. The whole point is, if you have a stable coin, you should be able to go to the issuer of the stable coin and redeem it for your money back. So DAI is different because it's a decentralized stable coin. It's actually backed by other cryptocurrencies. So basically what happens is you take cryptocurrency like Ether, for example, and you mint DAI. So you actually create new DAI that is, the amount of DAI is currently, the amount of DAI issued will be based on the current price of the assets whenever you mint it. And there's a pretty complex kind of process that happens all on the blockchain. So the cool thing about DAI is it's all automated. It all happens on the blockchain itself. And you can verify that there's actually assets there backing the cryptocurrency itself, and then it maintains its peg to the US dollar based on sort of a complex machinery happening behind the scenes. It's really impressive. But one really important thing about it is DAI is going to be more censorship resistant. Okay. So if you have a stablecoin issued by a central entity, then that's a central point of failure. But if you have a stablecoin that's issued in a decentralized way, it's actually backed by other cryptocurrencies, that's going to be way more censorship resistant. So that's why DAI is cool. So the initial question is, why doesn't MakerDAO get more love and support, or attention? Maybe was the question. So MakerDAO is a project that governs the DAI protocol. Okay. So I think it's one of those things where they're one of the earliest projects in the space. There's honestly not a lot of like big upcoming like hypey changes around DAI. So or the Maker protocol itself, to my knowledge at least. So I think that could be one reason. I think, a lot of the cryptocurrency hype just happens when new stuff happens and people are talking about the future. But, DAI, could be an unsung hero simply because it just does what it's supposed to do really, really well. Now, if you know something else that's amazing about, MakerDAO coming out in the future that I'm not aware of, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. But those are just some of my initial thoughts on the matter. All right, everybody. So that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out. So the more we can learn about blockchain, if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. If you like these videos and you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You can do that, or you can, if you want to take a massive shortcut, head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people zero coding experience become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. All right. So that's all I've got. Until next time. Thanks for watching Dapp University.